He's got a job on his hands. What can he do?
Well, I mean, you know, what has he done before? It's an interesting move for this company that's seen such a revolving door of senior executives, and a company that, you know, is not quite in crisis, but a company that's certainly struggling to get better and get bigger, and they're struggling on so many counts. Maybe Biz can have success where others have not. Jack Dorsey coming back to the company in what even Biz has suggested in the long span of time, not that long ago. But this is a company that has a part-time CEO in Jack Dorsey and could probably use some help.
And speaking of that, Bloomberg Television spoke with Biz Stone last year, and he told Emily Chang that he has confidence in Jack Dorsey, the current CEO. But he also cautioned that turning around Twitter will take some time. Listen.
I don't follow the small ups and downs. Like, I don't look at the stock on a quarterly basis. I think great leadership thinks in terms of decades, not quarters. And so I'm just waiting this out. Jack is, in the grand scheme of things, Jack has just gotten the job, basically. And people are like, he's already had it for a year. A year, that's nothing.
Should we speculate further and maybe question whether Jack Dorsey will remain in this job and Biz Stone might take over?
Look, I think anytime you've got a part-time CEO, you want to wonder what's going to happen long-term for the company, because having a CEO who's got a whole other public company to run is just an issue, right? There's a whole level of responsibilities, and you know, it's interesting that the band is back together, right? If you've got Biz Stone back there, if you've got Ev Williams on the board, and you've got Jack Dorsey both on the board and CEO, those are the three founders of this business. So interesting that they're all sort of back there trying to fix this thing. What's got to be fixed? Well, if you look at some of the numbers, the biggest issue remains the number of users. You know, they've mightily struggled in adding users for quite a while now. They've had many quarters, and I think sequential change is the way to look at this. Now, yes, they're up to 328 million, but that's not a lot more than the 305 million they had 18 months ago.
Right.
Indeed, if you look at the sort of sequential percentage change here, you've got a business that is just not growing that much, and it's a problem for this business. The most disconcerting thing to me is not just the inability to add users, but you know, you could make an argument that says, hey, if they can charge more and more from advertisers, it's okay to have the user base you want. You don't want everyone and their grandmother on Twitter. It makes make it unwieldy. But if indeed you could convince advertisers that they can, with all the technology that they both developed and purchased using their stock and using cash, that they've got some great tool for advertisers. But what you see in terms of the value of a Twitter user, that number is actually coming down. It's coming down on a year-over-year basis. It's coming down on a sequential basis. And that's really disconcerting, because that shows you that advertisers are just deciding, with a pretty consistent trend, deciding that there's better vehicles for advertising than on Twitter.
That's such a tough argument to make here, that, hey, we can monetize a fewer number of users when an advertiser just wants more.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's an argument that says that the era of spray and pray advertising, the Super Bowl advertising, go back to Harry Winamaker, who says, you know, I know that half my advertising budget is wasted, I just don't know which half. The targeted advertising is better. That a Google ad, when someone does a search for a boat engine, they're probably much more likely to be purchasing a boat engine, so the user defines who they are on Google. That could be true of Twitter as well, but what we're seeing from the numbers is that advertisers just aren't buying the sort of notion that a targeted customer through Twitter's technology is going to be a better customer for those ads.